Forever. Dog.
Welcome to Public Domain Theater with Kelly Nugent, Lindsay Katai, and guest Xander Jeanneret.
Hi, welcome to Public Domain Theater, the podcast of highbrow readings and lowbrow commentary. I'm one of your hosts, Lindsay Katai.
I'm another one of your hosts, Kelly Nugent, and we are joined today by a very special guest. You may know him from Geek and Sundry. From We're Alive Frontier, they just announced that season 2 is coming in October. From King of the Nerds on TBS, and from the Library Bards, a nerd parody band, we have actor, comedian, internet person, and professionally gay Xander Jeanneret is here! Oh.
I'm so glad that last bit got in there.
Oh, I mean, you had a knife to my throat and said, include it.
Yes, it rhymes with my last name. You have to say it.
I will say, however, that grammatically you strayed from the exam. So what it should have been was professional gay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
As title as opposed to.
Oh, I'm not so
professionally gay. Professional gay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm
it's
sorry.
Okay. We'll fix it in post, right?
It's okay. This is a lowbrow.
It's gonna be like and professional.
Okay.
Like horribly cut off.
Sorry, was that a slur?
Oh my God.
This does not. Kelly Nugent apologizes. Oh God, no, never.
No.
Never.
I never.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Very excited.
We're so glad to have you read a story with us.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
So when you were in high school, were you, I'm going to do all the reading, I'm a good kid, or were you like, I'm just going to do what I want?
Oh, very much a goody two shoes. I did like extra reading on top of it. Like reading I got excited about. Like I would just devour, like I read The Hobbit in like 4th grade because I had.
Oh, that's a long book.
Yeah,
Fancy
and my
pants.
dad was into fantasy stuff.
Oh,
And so
cool.
he introduced me to like nerddom. And I was like, what is this picture book? And I had a young picture book of telling the story of The Hobbit. And then he's like, this is the actual book. I was like, ooh.
It's a really good gateway drug.
It is.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
great.
Yeah, and it set me up for, you know, like opening my window, letting the cool breeze in, putting on some classical music, and reading a book, a novel in my bed in
What
like
a
5th grade.
delight!
I know.
Oh my God, were you
But
wearing a
it's
cashmere
adorable.
sweater?
I might as well have been.
Oh my
With, like, a
goodness.
With
long
another
robe.
sweater like tied
Yeah.
across your shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
and also a
gosh.
smoking robe and then like slippers.
It's right after you
And
took
then, like,
your morning
one of those
constitution outside.
nightcaps. Yeah.
Like, oh,
That's me now.
Victorian walking stick.
Yeah.
Like you just had absolutely every little bit of like possible like pretentious.
all of the
A bubble
accoutrement.
pipe.
Yeah. All of the reading accoutrement.
Yeah, but it set me up to now I almost have to read before falling asleep. Like it's how I wind down and eventually fall asleep.
What's the kind of stuff that you like to read now?
Still into fantasy stuff. I've been dabbling into sci-fi as well, but I just finished Brandon Sanderson. He did the Stormlight Archives. And so that was a cool mix of like, it's kind of sci-fi, but kind of fantasy. He made his own world. And then I was on a kick of Patrick Rothfuss.
Got a
The King
nod
Killer
from Brett.
Chronicles.
Brett approves.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
That's a mark against you,
Rothfuss?
Xander.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great series. And I think it's being made into a TV show with
Nice.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
inside
Combining your
scoop.
two loves.
I know.
Oh,
It's all
your
coming
two
together.
loves. Everything's
Fantasy
coming up,
and
Xander.
theater.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. So do we know anything about
I don't even know the name yet.
Guy de Maupassant?
Um,
Maupassant.
Are you saying more fish?
Les poissons. Les poissons.
No, I wasn't saying
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
No, shut the fuck up.
Oh, right.
I was talking. Okay. So we like to do this thing now because Lindsay's very good at doing this. She always gets 2 out of the 4 numbers right. What year do you think he was born?
Ooh.
Well, what year was the story written?
1884.
Okay. I'm going to say 1836.
I'm going to say 1860.
Ooh, okay. You were closer.
Mm.
1850. Split the diff, sitting at 1850.
I was trying to put him as being older when he wrote it.
Right? But back then, they didn't live very long.
No, that's
Younger.
true. That's true. He was an old man.
The reason I did
32.
that is because the last few times it was clear that they like lived way longer.
Yeah.
Than I thought they would had. Yeah.
Man. Okay. And he died in, do you want to give it a quick guess?
Oh shit. Okay.
1850.
1920.
Wow. You got 3 numbers wrong.
Okay.
Oh.
18. I'm thinking. 1878.
I'm going to say
Did he die young?
1869. Nice.
Nice. Both of you are wrong. 1893.
Oh, I was like, he wrote his book in my timeline and then just died.
And then,
like
instantly
7 years
died.
later, I'm done. No more.
My life's work.
So we're going to be reading this book called the story called The Necklace.
Ooh.
But first, let's get to know Guy. So he's a French writer. He's remembered as a master of the short story
I
form.
believe it is pronounced Guy.
Guy?
Guy?
Really?
No,
That
I don't
guy.
know.
Guy. He depicted human lives and destinies and social forces in disillusioned and often pessimistic terms. Ooh, boy.
Sounds like Dostoevsky.
But French.
But French.
Way.
So you saying we, but with like
Like,
a
way.
Californian.
like
way.
like French Canadian trash. Just kidding.
French Canadian trash. You're gonna get letters.
I know. So we're gonna get long penned letters.
No,
Listen, I
only
live
if
in
you say
Quebec.
way.
Just kidding. Just kidding. We love everybody here.
Sorry, we're not gonna get through anything.
No, we are not.
It's okay. We do this every episode.
Okay. So here's a story.
A story before a story.
This is the story all
All
about
about
how
how.
Guy's last name became de Maupassant.
Wow, it flows.
It
really
did. I
admire
didn't
how
think it
you
would,
tried.
and somehow we are alive.
We made it through.
So the de in French names is known as the particule, and generally belongs. What, Brett? Are you trying to teach us French right now?
More info than we
And
need.
generally belongs
Of?
to the aristocracy.
Oh, here we
indicating
go.
land ownership, old money,
Yeah, yeah.
etc.
Honey.
His parents, Gustave and Laure,
Okay.
were upper middle class and definitely well off, but were not members of the aristocracy. So
What?
where did the duh come from?
Oh,
When
that little
they
thief.
Married, Laure urged Gustave to obtain the right to use de Maupassant instead of just Maupassant in order to indicate noble birth.
Oh.
So Gustave researches his genealogy. He discovers a certain Jean-Baptiste Maupassant, conciliere. Why are you doing
Consigliere
this?
to the-
Why did you include this? Just say they're important.
Listen, these guys are important.
He was important. Conciliere secretaire to the
Uh-huh.
king,
Uh-huh.
who was ennobled in 1752.
Did he fake
found
that was
it.
like his uncle or
Found it.
Guess what? He maybe
Used
did.
it.
Based on this, he obtains a decree from the local civil tribune in the town of Rouen that gives him the right to style himself de Maupassant instead of just Maupassant.
Mm-hmm.
So, after the birth of
Canon.
Guy and his brother Hervé, probably like Hervé or something. Hervé.
Guy and Hervé.
I just love that everybody gets a French face when they try.
Yeah.
And Hervé.
Ugh.
Gustave. Oh no, Brett. Gustave
Killed
became
a cat.
No, he's physically abusive towards Laure.
No.
She gets a legal
No.
separation from him. Good on you, girl. Raises the 2 boys herself. She says goodbye. I don't need you.
Yeah.
Exposing them to the wonders of nature and classical literature.
Oh.
They graduate from college. Guy develops
Oh.
close friendships with many great writers of the age, namely Gustave Flaubert, who took
I've
Guy under
heard
his
that name.
protection and acted as a kind of literary guardian to
They
him.
totally boinked.
They did.
Oh, nice.
100%.
Because he guided his debut in journalism and literature. They totally boinked.
Yeah.
Under Flaubert's tutelage, Guy develops into a successful and prolific writer. But the more successful he becomes, the more averse he grew to the social life of Paris. He liked solitude and meditation.
What an edgelord.
Okay. Okay, this next part is definitely Brett being like, but before you picture Guy alone in a cabin in the woods, keep in mind that most of his alone time was spent on his private yacht, the Bellamy.
Classic fucking Walden Pond, motherfucking bullshit, Lady Bountiful, fucking old school arts, bourgeois,
Burn the rich.
ideals as though you're living. Fuck Emerson. Oh, no, wait. Fuck.
I buy it.
Who wrote Fuck Thoreau. I liked it.
Thoreau.
Okay.
I like Emerson.
Thoreau is the
Fuck Thoreau.
fakey boy, nature boy.
Yeah.
Get this. Bellamy, that yacht, he named it after one of his own novels. Guess what else? He hated the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
He
only the rich hate the Eiffel Tower.
It should be gold.
What? This is fucking crazy. So he ate lunch at the restaurant at its base, not out of preference for the food, but because it was only there that he could avoid seeing its otherwise unavoidable profile.
What a dick.
He's such a dick.
I don't want to talk to this guy. He'd be like, I only eat the Eiffel Tower, but so I don't have to see the Eiffel Tower.
It is the devil.
It is the worst.
I am the most French of all French. Berry.
So he and 46 other Parisian literary and artistic notables attached their names to an elaborately irate letter of protest against the tower's construction written to the Minister of Public Works. I bet you that guy fucking loved that
Listen,
letter.
we are very important writers. We demand you tear this down.
I only have one place I can eat, and it is at the worst place, Eiffel Tower.
Have you seen
Mr. Gorbachev,
tear
this tower.
I imagine, have you seen from Arrested Development that it became a meme of like the wizards and the magicians and like, we demand to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine with this. Just a bunch of like people in French berets and baguettes and a smoking.
Isn't it fun how you can make fun of nationalities when they're white ones?
Yeah. It's such a relief.
It's really fun.
I personally love it.
Yeah.
It's my people. I'm allowed.
It's only partly mine.
I have like 20 of them all in Europe, so I can really dabble.
Guys, we have some sad news.
Oh, no.
Guy's later years, he gets a crippling fear of death and paranoia of persecution because he got syphilis. It was suggested that his brother, Hervé, also suffered from syphilis, and the disease may have been congenital.
Oh, so you might have had syphilis the whole time?
The whole time.
Is that how it works?
You can get it as a
through the
He got it
baby.
from Flaubert. Where he got
Flaubert. And then he's like, oh, it's congenital.
Well, if the brother had
That's
it
what they
too,
all
either
say.
they were both.
But syphilis was everywhere.
sleeping.
It was like,
He probably stepped in a syphilis puddle.
yeah.
There was
So
puddles
there's
of it
puddles of it.
everywhere.
That's my new album. It's coming out soon.
Syphilis puddle.
It's all in French.
There's so much accordion.
Oh, no, very sad. Okay. January 2, 1892, he tries to commit suicide by cutting his throat.
Oh,
He's committed to the private asylum of Esprit Blanche at Passy
Sure.
in Paris, where he died.
Did he succeed? It said he attempted suicide.
Well, so he didn't succeed at that time. He died the next year.
Oh.
So I don't know how he died. But his own epitaph is, I've coveted everything and taken pleasure in nothing.
Oh,
Wow.
Man.
He finally had some like
Guy.
self-actualization right at his deathbed.
Right there,
He's
right
like,
there.
I should have liked the Eiffel
Yeah.
Tower.
Oh my God.
I was going to say, that is definitely the epitaph of a man who ate at the Eiffel Tower so he didn't have to look at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. I
Aw.
enjoy nothing.
Yeah.
I don't like this food. And I don't like this tower. So I'll enjoy nothing about my lunch.
I only like my yacht
And Flaubert.
and Flaubert. But why does he make me choose between him and the boat?
Curse you, syphilis!
Why? Congenital syphilis. Oh, sad times. Poor
Yeah.
guy. Should we read the story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The
Sure.
necklace.
That's the story here.
I guess.
I don't know.
All right, let's begin.
I can't leave yet, so I suppose.
So this story is called The Necklace. She was one of those pretty and charming girls born, as if by an error of fate, into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no expectations, no means of becoming known, understood, loved, or wedded by a man of wealth and distinction. And so She let herself be married to a minor official at the Ministry of Education.
This sounds like the trailer for a girl power movie. One girl out on their own.
Or like a rom-com and in the background, she says she's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl.
She's like the pretty one in a family of clerks.
She dressed plainly because she had never been able to afford anything better, but she was as unhappy as if she had once been wealthy. Women don't belong to a caste or class.
Amen.
Yeah. Their beauty.
Their property. Oh. Is what he's going to say.
Yeah, it is. Their beauty, grace, and natural charm take the place of birth and family. Natural delicacy, instinctive elegance, and a quick wit determine their place in society and make the daughters of commoners the equals of the very finest ladies. He doesn't get what life is like.
No,
it's like both complimentary and incredibly insulting.
Yeah.
Have you seen, there's this supercut of like rom-com clips, and it's a guy, always a guy, describing the love interest to another guy. And she's smart, and she's funny, and she's beautiful. And it's the same thing over and over in every movie. And she's smart, and she's funny, and she's beautiful.
Really?
And she's smart, and she's beautiful, and she's funny. It's like over and over and over again.
Those are the only things you can be, though.
And that's just what he did.
It is exactly what he
I
did.
thought for sure that was going to get followed up with every time. And like, she eats meat.
She's not like other girls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But she drinks whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's so cool, man.
She loves sports.
Yeah.
She can really like toss around a pigskin.
Like, she can really toss it back with the guys.
She like beat me up. She suffered endlessly, feeling she was entitled to all the delicacies and luxuries of life. She suffered because of the poorness of her house as she looked at the dirty walls, the worn-out chairs, and the ugly curtains.
Then why you let yourself be married?
Right? Or do something about it.
Do something. Run away.
Or fix your walls. Like,
Yeah,
get
paint
some
them.
curtains.
Get some
That's what
gauzy
women
curtains.
do.
Yeah.
All these things that another woman of her class would not have even noticed tormented her and made her resentful. The sight of the little Brenton girl who did her housework filled her with terrible regrets and hopeless fantasies.
Oh, that fucking little Brenton girl. Like, fucking
Brenton girl.
Brenton girl.
She dreamed of silent antechambers hung with oriental tapestries, lit from above by torches and bronze holders, while two tall footmen in knee-length breeches napped in huge armchairs, sleepy from the stove's oppressive warmth.
Girl,
I was about to say.
Yeah, she's got tapestries and torches and stoves. Those things are up in flames.
I'm sorry. Also, that house is too hot.
Too hot.
It's too hot. She needs to just have some windows. Like, she hasn't even mentioned one window.
I was about to say, like, oh, girl was born to the wrong era. And then I was like, no, that's like what was happening then.
Yeah, that tracks.
I was 1860.
She dreamed of vast living rooms furnished in rare old silks, elegant furniture loaded with priceless ornaments, and inviting smaller rooms. Perfumed, made for afternoon chats with close friends.
Sex room.
Famous,
Yeah.
sought after men who all women envy and desire. When she sat down to dinner at a round table covered with a 3-day-old cloth opposite her husband, who
3 days old.
Ugh.
Buy a new cloth.
lifting the lid off the soup, shouted excitedly, "Ah, beef stew! What could be better?"
Oh my God, please do not, Kelly. Please don't do this to me.
She dreamed of fine dinners, of shining silverware, of tapestries which peopled the walls with figures from another time and strange
We already covered
birds
the
and fairy
tapestry.
forests. She dreamed of delicious dishes served on wonderful plates, of whispered gallantries listened to with an inscrutable smile as one ate the pink flesh of a trout or the wings of quail.
Ew.
Jesus.
She's a lot.
Yeah. She's never eaten a quail in her life.
She
She doesn't
never
know what
has.
she's asking
She doesn't know what
for.
she's talking about. Too
She's
small.
a bit much.
Yeah.
She's a lot.
She's extra.
She
She's
had
defined extra.
she had no
Well,
dresses,
extra.
no jewels, nothing.
She
And-
ran naked in the woods with her 3-day-old clock.
And these were the only things she loved. She felt
The thing she didn't have.
that she did not have.
What's the metaphor?
Oh. Oh my God, it's him with the fucking
It's
Eiffel
him.
Tower.
This is him.
Oh my God, the
And
yacht.
he's like,
Wow.
oh, if I had boobs and a vagina, this is what I would feel like.
Yeah. He's like, this is what all women are like, right?
Right?
She felt she was made for them alone. She wanted so much to charm, to be envied, to be desired and sought after. She had a rich friend, a former schoolmate at the convent, whom she no longer wanted to visit because she suffered so much when she came home. For whole days afterwards, she would weep with sorrow, regret, despair, and misery.
Jeez.
One evening, her husband came home with an air of triumph, holding a large envelope in his hand. "Look," he said, "here's something for you." Lost the accent there.
I love the husband, though. He's just so excited about life.
He's having a great time.
Yeah.
He loves stew. He loves
letters.
Yeah.
He's probably walking around with a jaunty hat all day.
Oh, yeah. Feather in it.
Kicking his step.
Yeah.
So happy. And he's like, I can't wait to get home to my wife.
Yeah.
You know, she makes great beef stew. We don't have a lot, but I love
We
her.
have each other.
Also, she's smart. She's funny.
She's beautiful. She tore open the paper and drew out a card on which was printed the words, "The Minister of Education and is MME, Madame?
Madame.
Yeah.
Georges Ramponneau requests the pleasure of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company at the Ministry on
be a
the
hard
evening
night.
of Monday, January 18th. Instead of being delighted, as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation on the table resentfully and muttered, "Oh, what do you want me to do with that?" "But, my dear, I thought you would be so pleased. You never go out, and it will be such a lovely occasion. I had awful trouble getting it. Everyone wants to go. It is very exclusive, and they're not giving many invitations to clerks. The whole ministry will be there." She stared at him angrily and said impatiently, "And what do you expect me to wear if I go?"
Hate her. I hate her so much.
I just really like that Kelly has given the husband a French accent, and
And
she
she-
sounds like just such a modern bitch.
I know.
He hadn't thought of that. He stammered, "Why, the dress you go to the theater in, it seems very nice to me." He stopped, stunned, distressed to see his wife crying. 2 large tears ran slowly from the corners of her eyes towards the corners of her mouth.
Just 2.
Just 2. He stuttered, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" With great effort, she overcame her grief and replied in a calm voice as she wiped her wet cheeks, "Nothing. Only I have no dress, and so I can't go to this party. Give your invitation to a friend whose wife has better clothes than I knew." He was distraught, but tried again. "Oh, let's see, Mathilde. How much would a suitable dress cost? One you could use again on other occasions. Something very simple." She thought for a moment.
Like, oh, great. Simple dress. Simple one.
I want Gucci.
I want Louboutins. Computing the cost and also wondering what amount she could ask for without an immediate refusal and an alarmed exclamation.
She's so calculating.
Mhm.
She's a monster.
She's a monster.
She should run auctions.
Oh, she should. Without an immediate refusal and an alarmed exclamation from the thrifty clerk. At last, she answered hesitantly. "I don't know exactly, but I think I could do it with 400 francs. He turned a little pale because he had been saving that exact amount to buy a gun and treat himself to a hunting trip the following
Okay,
summer.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Buy
Dress
the
or a
fucking
gun?
dress. Buy the
Yeah, I
dress.
mean, it's
Buy the
fine, it's
dress.
fine.
Go
Let's get
buy
the dress.
Yeah.
In the country near Nanterre and with a few friends who went lark shooting there on Sundays. However, he said, "Very well, I can give you 400 francs, but try and get a really beautiful dress."
I mean, I am in love with this clerk, but you don't buy yourself
He
something
can just
different.
go for a walk.
Just hang out with the guys in another
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys could just go about town, go see a theater thing.
buy
Or some
yourself a
wallpaper.
fucking-
Yeah, get some fucking
Wagon.
wallpaper. Why don't you get the guys together and wallpaper the house?
Ooh, that's fun.
That's
Fun
fun.
Boys' night.
Man
Boys' night
cave.
in. Just clean the whole fucking house. The day of the party drew near, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, restless, anxious. Her dress was ready, however. One evening, her husband said to her, "Wait, is this the same couple?"
I would assume.
Madame Loisel, that was her, right?
Yeah, because that's who was invited to the party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Her dress was ready, however. One evening, her husband said to her, "What's the matter? You've been acting strange these last 3 days." 3 days.
Yeah.
She
It's going to
replied,
be so fun when it gets to me and I'm trying to do this.
I
I'm very
cannot do
excited.
a French accent, so do not
you're
worry.
killing it.
Still way better.
She replied, "I'm upset. I have no jewels. Not a single stone to wear. I'm gonna look cheap. I would almost rather not go to the party." "You could wear flowers,"
This
he said. "They are very
Fucking
fashionable at
cunt.
this time of year."
The jewels of the forest.
For 10 francs, you could get 2 or 3 magnificent roses.
God's jewels.
She was not convinced. Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry, Lindsay. I didn't realize. I read the whole. Wait.
You're on
page 3.
page.
Oh, no, I'm good. So
You're
then
fine.
I read a little more.
Yeah.
No! There is nothing more humiliating than looking poor in the middle of a lot of rich women. How stupid you are! Her husband cried. Go and see your friend Madame Forestier and ask her to lend her you some jewels. You know her well enough for that. She uttered a cry of joy. Of course, I had not thought of that.
Oh, God.
The next day, she went to her friend's house and told her of her distress. Madame Forestier went to her mirrored wardrobe, took out a large box, brought it back, opened it, and said to Madame Loisel, choose, my dear. First, she saw some bracelets, then a pearl necklace.
I don't know I am friends with you, but choose, my dear.
Makeover.
Say she's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl.
And this is like montage.
Na, na, na,
And she's
na,
just
na.
like disapproving or nodding.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah, those.
Then a gold Venetian cross set with precious stones of exquisite craftsmanship. She tried on the jewelry in the mirror, hesitated, could not bear to part with them, to give them back. She kept asking,
Give them back.
Yeah.
she kept asking, you have nothing else?
Oh my God.
This fucking bitch. I can't even with her. Why, yes, but I don't know what you like. Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a superb diamond necklace, and her heart began to beat with uncontrolled desire. Her hands trembled as she took it.
She's hornier for that necklace than she's ever been
Fuck
for her
yeah.
dumpy husband.
Oh, but I love the husband.
I love the husband too.
He's too good for her.
Here's the thing. He needs to find someone that will appreciate him.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Yes. She fastened it around her neck over her high-necked dress and stood lost in ecstasy as she looked at herself. Then she asked anxiously, hesitating, would you let me this? Just this.
How dare.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, of course. She
Oh.
threw her arms around her friend's neck, embraced her rapturously, and fled with her treasure.
That's nice.
Everybody in her life is too good for her.
Yeah.
That's
She's
how
like
she
the
got
worst
away with
person.
it.
It's true because everyone's too nice.
Yeah.
And no one's
Everyone's
like, you
way
need to
too
stop.
nice.
Yeah.
You're not a good person.
Reality
Yeah, you
check.
have to call your friends on their shit. Otherwise, you're not their real friend.
It's
Mhm.
true.
The day of the party arrived. Madame Loisel was a success. She was prettier than all the other women, elegant, gracious. Ooh, she's Scarlett O'Hara, y'all.
Yeah.
Smiling and full of joy. All the men stared at her, asked her name, tried to be introduced. All the cabinet officials wanted to waltz with her.
Oh, what's husband doing? I'm so sad for him.
I want
He's just,
cut
like,
to him at the
eating beef
buffet. Yeah.
stew.
Yeah, he's
I
like-
love beef stew.
He's like cracking open a crab leg. He's having a blast. He's like, oh, this is a Vegas buffet, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife is having so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, he's just happy.
Yeah.
Oh,
The minister noticed her.
oh
dan-
shit. The fucking minister.
No.
Is he about to break his vow of celibacy?
No.
Oh my God, who
Girl.
even knows?
No, God.
She danced wildly with passion, drunk on pleasure. She's forgetting
She's
everything.
so embarrassing right now. She's
She is.
like,
She's the Elaine
fucking-
dance from Seinfeld, like thumbs up, kicking.
in her mind, it's like, la, la,
Yeah.
la. And like, we cut to her doing that.
She's in like a
Elaine
muslin dress
dance.
with a diamond necklace. Like, this is all I can afford.
Her hair is like a little disheveled. She's like sweaty because she's been drinking too much.
Yeah, but
There's,
like all champagne.
Like twisting
just-
to the side.
Petal-less roses like in her hair.
I'm prettier
noticed
than
her.
everyone.
Everyone said I'm the prettiest.
Everyone noticed me. Did you notice that fucking bitch?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I noticed her.
Loisel. More like Loy Miss. And someone's like, that was a stretch, Karen.
You're like, Karen, you're so bad. I said it.
I said it.
I went there.
Oh.
In the glory of her success and a sort of cloud of happiness made up of all this respect, all this admiration, all these awakened desires. So that sense of triumph that is so sweet to a woman's heart. She left at about 4:00 in the morning.
Dang.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Night
It
owl.
gets worse, you guys.
What?
Oh.
Her
I'm in
husband
bed by
had been
10.
dozing since midnight, in a little deserted anteroom with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were having a good time.
Oh, you know what they were up to.
Shit. They were so
Friends.
just
Guys being dudes.
Yeah, just dudes. They were wallpapering the room.
They were wallpapering. They're like, come on, George, why didn't you get the gun? It was the only gun between us.
We were all going to share it as 3 best friends.
Out to the woods in our completely separate, different kind of movie.
I guess we can share the dress.
He threw over her shoulders the clothes he had brought for her to go outside in, the modest clothes of an ordinary life, whose poverty contrasted sharply with the elegance of the ball dress. She felt this and wanted to run away so she wouldn't be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in expensive furs. Loisel held her back. Fuck. Wait a moment, you'll catch a cold. Every time it turns Russian.
So good.
You'll catch a cold outside. I'll go and find a cab.
I will pay 50 rubles.
Borscht.
Yes, who is your friend?
St. Petersburg is gloomy. I'm going to start saying this, but it's bleak. I'm going to sing that whole
Anastasia, it's me. Grandmother, it's me.
All right, the accent will be what it will be.
It will be. What'll be will be. Kiss her off.
But she would not listen to him and ran down the stairs.
Oh, shit.
When I was young, and I was just a little girl, my mother used to say to me, when they were finally in the street, they could not find a cab and began to look for one, shouting at the cabmen they saw passing in the distance. They walked down toward the Seine in despair, shivering with cold. At last they found one on the quay, one of those old night cabs that one sees in Paris only after dark, as if they were ashamed to show their shabbiness during the day. They were dropped off at their door in the Rue de Martyrs.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's our
sadly-
favorite place.
Rue de Martyrs. And sadly, Rue des Martyrs.
Oh,
And
God.
sadly walked
That's how
up the
my father would say
steps
that.
to their apartment. It was all over for her.
Oh.
And he was remembering that he had to be back at the office at 10 o'clock. In front of the mirror, she took off the clothes around her shoulders, taking a final look at herself in all her glory. But suddenly she uttered a cry. She no longer had the necklace around her
Oh my God,
neck.
this is Ocean's 8.
And Cinderella.
Oh my God,
My
and Cinderella.
God.
Oh my God. Where's that damn necklace?
What is the matter?
Oh,
Asked
great.
her
So
husband,
many
already
R's.
half
So many
dressed.
R's. I love that.
Wow, it went so well that time.
I love
Mhm.
that one.
She turned toward him, panic-stricken. I no longer have.
What is she saying?
She no longer has the necklace.
Oh, okay.
He stood up, distraught. What? How? That's impossible.
Ooh.
Espanol.
Spanish. Yeah.
He's like doing Duolingo.
You know what?
right now.
Yeah.
I'm too worldly
Yeah.
to restrict myself to but one accent.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see languages, so.
They looked in the folds of her dress, in the folds of her cloak, in her pockets,
Boobs,
everywhere.
boobs. Check the
Yes,
boobs.
yes,
It's always in the
yes.
Oh,
boobs.
Her
she
cleavage.
does have ample bosom,
Yeah.
but they could not find it.
Shit.
Are you sure you still have it on when you left the ball?
He's like,
He asked-
He has asthma now.
He's like, I had so much milk earlier today. I'm so sorry. How dare you? How dare you? I'm doing my
You are
best.
killing
No,
it.
it's so
You're
good.
so
It's so good.
good.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's entertaining me, and
Yeah,
that's what's
thank you.
important.
Yeah.
Yes, I touched it in the hall at the ministry.
Oh.
But if you had lost it in the street, we would have heard it fall.
Oh.
Oh,
It must be in the cab.
I suspect
in-
the cab.
I think
That's
the
where I
cab.
would go.
I think the cab.
Yes, that's probably it. Did you take his number?
Wait, why would he take his number?
I don't know.
You know,
This-
for later.
Oh, for
Yeah,
wallpaper
for
in the house in the
later,
honey
yeah.
trap.
Well, yeah.
No. And you didn't notice it? No.
Oh.
They stared at each other, stunned. At last, Loisel put his clothes on again.
Wait, why were they off?
Oh, they were
They
home.
were getting in bed.
Oh, they're in bed. I thought they were
She
still on
took
the
all her
street.
clothes off, and then she noticed there's no necklace.
Oh, so sorry,
yeah.
so sorry, so
I'm
sorry.
sorry,
so
my-
sorry.
They're getting
Excellent
into their
accent work.
separate twin beds. 'cause
Right.
It's the
Yes.
1800s.
It's the 1800s.
You don't want to get civil.
Yeah, you only
No.
sleep in separate twin
Yes.
beds or
Yeah.
like a stack of hay.
Yeah.
Especially in France, which is like notoriously Puritan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going back, he said. Over the whole route we walked. See if I can find it.
Oh, husband.
He left. She remained in her ball dress all evening without the strength to go to bed.
Oh, what?
Wait, so
With
she's
the
too
strength
tired to go to bed?
Sitting
Just
on a
standing-
chair.
Oh, sitting on
I mean,
a chair?
yeah.
With no fire.
Oh,
Her
she's
mind blank.
poor girl. No fire.
Her husband returned at about 7 o'clock. He had found nothing.
Oh my
He's
God.
out
He
all
went to the
night.
police, to the newspapers to offer a reward, to the cab companies. Everywhere the tiniest glimmer of hope led him.
Can you imagine being the friend opening the newspaper the next day of like, reward, lost diamond necklace. Oh, what? Yeah.
Oh my
Ooh la
God.
la.
Ooh la la.
Madame Whistle.
She waited all day in the same state of blank despair from before this frightful disaster. Oisel returned in the evening, a hollow, pale figure. He had found nothing. You must write to your friend, he said.
Oh,
Tell
shit.
her you have broken the clasp of her necklace
Oh shit.
and that you are having it mended.
Ooh, what a web of
Oh.
lies we're weaving.
That is also very bold considering the newspaper.
Exactly.
That's-
And he's told everyone
He's told
around town.
everyone around
Like,
town.
Obviously, she lives close.
And also cabbies. Cabbies love to talk.
yeah.
And they're
Mhm.
traveling all over the place.
She's going to be in like
All
the
over the
hairdresser
place.
and
Yeah.
hear it from them.
Yes. And then the lie will come forward. I am scared. I'm scared about what's going to happen. I'm afraid.
She's going to go on a
It's
murderous
bad.
rampage.
Yeah.
This is very suspenseful. It will give us more time to look some more.
Oh my God.
At the end of 1 week, they had lost all hope.
Oh.
And Loisel, who had aged 5 years,
Oh,
declared,
so she's almost dead.
we must consider how to replace the jewel. The next day, they took the box which had held it and went to the jeweler whose name they found inside.
Oh.
He consulted his books.
Oh no. It's going to be so expensive.
It was not I, madame, who sold the necklace. I must simply have supplied the case.
Oh,
And so they went from jeweler to jeweler looking for a necklace like the other one, consulting their memories, both sick with grief and anguish. In a shop in the Palais Royal, they
Oh.
found a string of diamonds, which seemed to be exactly what they were looking for. It was worth 40,000 francs.
Jesus
They
Whoa.
Christ.
They could have it for 36,000.
Oh, deal.
What a
What a
bargain.
steal.
Property Brothers.
So they begged the jeweler not to sell it for 3 days, and they made an arrangement that he would take it back for 34,000 francs if the other necklace was found before the end of February. It's very complicated.
This is
Wow.
extremely complicated. And how are they going to get this money?
I don't know. Louisel had 18,000 francs, which his father had left him.
Oh,
He would
no.
borrow the rest.
This
And-
is, oh my
Mm.
God, husband.
He's going into super
Go
debt.
to the friend.
Yeah.
Talk it out.
Yeah.
Because she
Work
was just
out
casually
a
like, have a
plan.
necklace.
Yeah.
She had so much jewelry. I bet
Yeah.
you she'd be like, oh, no problem.
Yeah.
I think she found it. She's like walking around
This
wearing
is
it
mine.
every day.
Yeah.
Oh, my necklace.
Oh, cool.
And he did borrow, asking for 1,000 francs from one man, 500 from another, 5 louis here, 3 louis there.
Oh.
He gave notes, made ruinous agreements,
Oh
dealt
my
with
God.
usurers. Usurers?
Oh, God.
Dealt with usurers.
Mm.
With every type of
a
moneylender. He compromised the rest of his life, risking signed notes without knowing if he could ever honor them.
This husband is breaking my dang heart.
Mhm. And terrified by the anguish still to come, by the black misery about to fall on him, by the prospect of every physical privation and every moral torture he was about to suffer, he went to get the new necklace and laid down on the jeweler's counter 36,000 francs.
No.
Don't do it.
Clerk.
Yeah. When Madame Loisel took the necklace back, Madame Forestier said coldly, "You should have returned it sooner. I might have needed it."
Rude. She doesn't even know what they went through.
No. To the relief of her friend, she did not open the case. If she had detected
She
the
tried to just get away with it.
yeah, like here's your
Holy
necklace, don't open it, bye.
shit. Gotta go.
If she had detected the substitution, what would she have thought? What would she have said? Would she have taken her friend for a thief?
Oh.
Now I'm having doubts that she really lost the necklace.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't think she had this
she
whole
done
time.
kept it for herself
Yeah, I
and
think
made her
she did.
husband.
Mhm.
Mhm.
She a bitch.
Oh,
From-
shit.
From then on, Madame Loisel knew the horrible life of the very poor, but she
Hmm.
played her part heroically.
Of
Of course. So she kept
Yeah.
that fucking necklace.
She just
did.
wanted to remember the night and wear it and look at herself.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
little cunt.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We throw that word
Wow.
around
Yeah,
a lot.
we do say it a lot.
The dreadful debt must be paid. She would pay it. They dismissed their maid. Oh.
Oh, God.
They changed their
God.
lodgings. They rented a garret under a roof. She came to know the drudgery of housework, the odious labors of the kitchen. She washed the dishes, staining her rosy nails on greasy pots and the bottoms of pans.
Wearing the necklace all the while.
Yeah, right? It's in her prison wallet. She washed the dirty linen, the sheets, and the dishcloths, which she hung to dry on a line. She carried the garbage down to the street every morning.
Oh my God.
Carried up
Ew.
the
The
water,
sacrifice.
stopping at each landing to catch her breath. And, dressed like a commoner, she went to the fruitières, the grocers, the butchers, her basket on her arm, bargaining.
Candlestick makers.
Yeah. Marie, the baguettes. Hurry up.
Do.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the lyrics, so I just went
There
with that.
goes the
Baker with his
tray like always.
That's about as much as we can
Yeah.
sing without getting sued.
Yeah.
Bargaining, insulted, fighting over every miserable sou. I guess that's like the penny of
Yeah.
France.
Yeah.
The
Wait, so
penny of
question,
France.
did she sell her dress?
It doesn't seem like it.
Okay, rude.
That's what she
probably
should have
puts
done.
it on
Because
every
she wants to put the
night,
whole outfit on.
Yeah.
and then she just like goes up to the
The
mirror
full
and makes
illusion.
out with herself.
Yeah.
Like, no,
You're so rich.
You rich bitch.
You're so noticed.
Oh my God. Her husband worked every evening doing accounts for tradesmen and often late into the night. He sat copying a manuscript at 5 sous a page.
Oh,
Oh
And-
my God.
And this lifestyle lasted 10 years.
whoa! Time jump.
At the end of 10 years, they had paid off everything. Good for them. I haven't paid off my student
No,
loans.
that's crazy.
and
10 years they paid off all of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's really impressive.
I have not
everything.
paid off my student loans either.
At the
Holy
users'
shit.
rates and with the accumulations of compound interest. Good for them.
What?
Impressive.
Madame Loisel looked old now. She had become strong, hard, and rough like
Was it
all women of impoverished households.
Fucking worth it.
With her hair half combed, with skirts awry and reddened hands, she talked loudly as she washed the floor with great swishes of water. But sometimes, when her husband was at the office, she sat down near the window and thought of that evening at the ball so long ago when she had been so beautiful and so admired. What would have happened had she not lost that necklace? Who knows? Who
Okay.
knows?
All right.
How strange life is, how fickle, how little is needed for one to be ruined or saved. One Sunday, as she was walking in the Champs-Élysées to refresh herself after the week's work, suddenly she saw a woman walking with a child. It was Madame Forestier, still young, still beautiful, still charming.
Magic necklace.
Madame Loisel felt emotional. Should she speak to her? Yes, of course. And now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Why not? She went up to her. Good morning, Jean. I don't know which. Oh, this is her. Good morning, Jean. The other, astonished to be addressed so familiarly by this common woman, did not recognize her. She stammered, But, Madame, I do not know. You must have a mistake. No, I am Mathilde Loisel. Her friend uttered a cry. Oh, my poor Mathilde, how you've changed. Yes, I had some hard times since I last saw you, and many miseries. And all because of you.
Oh, what?
It is not her
Me?
fault.
How could this be? You remember that diamond necklace that you lent to me to wear to the ministry party? Yes. Well, I lost it. What do you mean? You brought it back? I brought you back another exactly like it, and it's taken us 10 years to pay for that shit. It wasn't easy for us. We had very little, but at last it is over, and I am very glad. Madame Forestier was stunned. You say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine? Yes, you didn't notice then? Then they were very similar.
Oh my God.
And she smiled with proud and innocent pleasure.
No.
Madame Forestier, deeply moved, took both her hands. What a
no.
twist. I did not see this
what a
coming.
twist.
Oh,
She
my
found
poor
that shit.
Mathilde. Mine was an imitation. It was worth 500 francs at most.
Oh my fucking God.
Never keep secrets
Wait, that's
from
the
your
end?
friends.
That's
Always
the
discuss.
end?
Always discuss. Always discuss a problem with your friend. You
Just
go
get
to
it out
her.
in the
You
open.
go to her and
Oh
you're like,
my
"Oh my God, I lost your necklace. What will it take
Oh my
to
I'll
God.
replace
make this
it.
right?"
Because then you can
Oh my
find out the actual
God.
cost.
Yeah,
I
but
can-
now
was-
her whole fucking
That
life.
was Shocking.
If I was her, I'd be like, give that the fuck back. I'm going to sell this again for $36,000
Yeah.
and
And then
live a
I'm
good
gonna-
life
yeah.
for the rest of my
She's just been walking around with a necklace that cost 36,000 francs.
life. Thinking it was worth 500.
She's like, oh, I gave that to my daughter. It's
She's like, I use that to clean my
16th
fucking
birthday.
toilet.
Yeah. I wiped my butt with that.
that. Oh my God. I did not, none of our predictions
No,
came
we
true.
did
I
not
did not
pick
see
that
that
at
coming.
all.
So
Holy shit.
She became kind of a better person.
She did become a better
She had to
person.
work hard and
Yeah.
she felt guilty. And
Yeah. And
that
she
poor
buckled
husband.
down and she did it.
Yeah.
She did it. And her husband got a better companion out of that.
Yeah,
And a
I'm
really
sure she was.
terrible life of nonstop work.
It's true. And he probably had like generalized anxiety disorder for like
Yeah.
many years.
But at least she wasn't lying to him.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
That would have been
Yeah.
the worst. And I like that we all assumed that of her.
We did
Oh,
assume that she kept that
majorly.
fucking necklace,
Yeah.
but she didn't.
Yeah, she
No,
didn't.
no.
Wow.
I thought at night she would just put it on and admire herself.
Right?
So, like, at the end, really, her voice would have sounded more like,
Diamonds. I haven't had diamonds
right,
in
you
10
back
years.
another exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years
Yeah.
to pay for it.
I scrub toilets for a living to buy you this
I'm
necklace.
Harvey
My
First.
arms,
Yeah.
my arms are wiry and strong now.
Tracy.
Oh my God.
Wow, that was a roller coaster.
I
was.
actually liked that story.
I liked it a lot.
was like, dang,
Yeah.
what's
So,
going to happen?
As women, do you think that
Yes.
he kind of caught what it was like to be like a 19th century woman?
I
Well, as a 19th century woman,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, she's certainly a certain type of woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that type would exist now. And I
For sure.
think it's probably, I'm fine with it because it certainly, well, there was more than one woman.
Yeah. And they had
Mhm.
conversations
It
without
passes
a
the
man.
Bechdel test.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
And that one was very different and kind. And
friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a little rude about the
So-
returning thing, but that's just like a little
I'd
bit
be
of.
annoyed if it took my
Yeah.
friend
Yeah.
a really
I'd
long
be like,
time.
what
to,
did you need it for?
I want this to you
Or I
like
would have been like,
weeks ago.
you couldn't call me? Like,
Right.
you couldn't write me a letter?
Yeah.
She did
It was
write her a
in
letter.
the paper.
Oh, right.
She said,
was
I'm
like, getting it
repairing the
fixed.
clasp.
Right.
But-
Said she bought her a fucking diamond necklace.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
insane.
That,
Good
oh,
work, Brett.
Good work, Brad.
Good
That was a
Brad.
good story.
Yeah.
Really great story. Thank you so
Um,
much for reading this story. Oh, we have
Yay.
to grade it, right?
Yeah. Let's
Oh.
grade this shit.
Okay, I give this solid between A and A minus. I
Yeah.
liked this story a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would give it like a B plus.
Mhm.
Like it was very didactic. There was like a moral to the story. And,
Yeah.
and it
Mhm.
was in short format, but
Mhm.
I would have liked to flesh out the characters a little bit more.
Mhm.
What did the
Mhm.
husband do? And
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say B plus, A minus.
Yeah.
Fluctuating.
Yeah.
depending
Good
on,
job.
on which level, like what grade of English class I'm teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
wonder, and maybe Brett might know this. Was this translated from French? Yes. So this is also like the translation. So there might be nuances in French
Yeah.
that we didn't quite get.
Very
True.
true.
True. True.
Very
It's a
true.
tricky language.
I'll give it an A minus on
Yeah.
the assumption that there is probably like
Something
something
lost.
extra.
A little nuggets.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some like more color.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming on and reading a story with
This
us,
is a
Xander.
delight.
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
Yay.
Yay. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, we're alive. Season 2, we just wrapped on filming for it, so it's all done, and it's going to be coming out in October.
Yay.
And that's on Alpha, which is Geek and Sundry and Nerdist's like subscription model. It's like
Cool.
Netflix. Yeah. So
Awesome.
that'll be coming out, and then we've got a couple of cons coming up for the end of con season. So as Library Bards, we'll be at Amazing Aloha Comic Con in Hawaii
cool.
at the end of August. Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
fun. Oh, and as an internet person, where
Yes.
can people find you on said internet?
Yeah, you can find me all over at Xanderific. That's with 2 R's and 1 F. And then at Library Bards, it's the band. It's like library cards, but with a B.
Yay.
Nice. Well, thank you again for coming on this show.
Yeah.
Yes, it was an absolute pleasure.
I had
Thank
so much
you.
fun.
Yay.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to help out our show, you can leave us a lovely review on whatever podcast app of your choice. We appreciate the lovely reviews that we've been getting so far, and that's the best way to help our show because it's still pretty new.
Yeah. So we'll see you next story time.
I'm sorry, I need you to say that again, but in your French accent.
So we'll see you next story time.
I got you now, Mr. Bond.
Und
Sweet!
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram @ForeverDogTeam and liking our page on Facebook.